Okay. Well, thank you everybody for being here at our first annual general meeting. I'm going to rely on the experts in this discussion to guide me. I've been to plenty of AGMs, but never had to lead one. So I think we're going to stay on track today. The approval of the agenda. I don't know if everybody had a chance to look over the agenda. It's not overly hefty, as we're a fairly dynamic group. So I think we discuss a lot of the things ongoing, and this is just a highlight of what's happened in 2018. And I am going to talk just briefly about the things that we have done since our quarterly meeting of just a couple of weeks ago. So the agenda is up on the screen if you don't currently have it in front of you. I believe everybody can see that. Is everybody's audio visual still okay as we pop up this agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I think that was a bit of a glitch we had last time, is when we would pop up documents, our video would go. So perfect. All right, so I guess we just, is there any questions about the agenda? Anybody have any comments on it? No?
No, I make a motion we approve the agenda.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, Dawn seconds, okay. Okay, and Trish?
Actually, it was Susan seconding it.
Oh, sorry, Susan,
yeah.
okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
That's
I'm
a
trying
good
to
point.
write.
Maybe we should say our names when we do it so that.
Yeah, good idea. I'm trying to see screens and.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Okay, no, nobody disagrees? No, okay, all right, so Carrie, thank you very much. I'll be taking the notes since I didn't have any quick takers on my, does anybody want to be a note taker email here? So just bear with me. Trisha, you're going to give us the treasurer's report, although, of course, when we get to the installation of our new board, we will be passing off those duties to Susan Ellsworth. So, Trisha, if you give us the 2018 treasurer's report.
Yeah, we're still in very, very good shape. We're still working off the technology grant that we haven't spent yet. So that's why we have, it looks like we have a lot of money in the bank, but we actually have it earmarked for that project. So Nav Center has now cashed their deposit check. So that's good. And the technology grant that we got from Dominion will be spent very shortly. Part of it was for the Zoom meetings. We'll be working our way through that technology grant rather quickly in the next month or so, and so obviously the money will go down after that. But we're still in very good shape with the startup donations. So and the $1,000 donation from Dominion as well for startup. So. Yeah, so the $3,000 deposit from Nav Center was the $3,000 loan from Dominion, but it still shows in our bank account at the end of the year because they hadn't cashed the check yet. So that's why it looks like we have more than we do, but that's obviously going down rather quickly now.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions for me?
No. Okay. Do we? I assume we move to approve the agenda, or sorry, the treasurer's report.
Yeah, we could do all the reports. Yeah. We could approve all the reports at the end if you have any more to do.
Okay. Yeah, is everybody okay with that, approving it at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Budget 2019, Trisha, did you want to address?
Sure. So it's pretty straightforward as far as, you know, a lot of this it's in and out. One of the things in the original budget that was sent out a week or so ago, we didn't realize that we were showing income from certificates, but we only had our expenses because we were thinking, well, our expenses is about $150 to process a bunch of applications, but we forgot to put the amount that goes to Dominion. So really, it's a pass through. We don't keep any of the money from the applications. Obviously, the technology grant, that money's coming out, and that's in the budget. I don't think there's anything else. Does anybody questions on it?
I guess I'll just bring up the question that Carl had emailed us in regards to, is Bridge Annex going to be charging more than the $40 that we?
Yeah, Vancouver branch is considering, some of the branches do, and Vancouver branch is considering it. And that's why he was asking if we do. Right now, we do not.
Right.
That's something we can consider in the future, because we may have expenses like, so Dominion is working very quickly towards processing applications online. Right now, we're still printing them, and so we have some costs associated with that. So while we work through this process, we are actually taking a little bit of a loss on those applications because we're not charging any anymore. But as we move to the electronic applications, and we should be doing that in the next couple of weeks. So any of our future applications will be doing it online. Those expenses will go away. So really, we've got to consider whether we want to, leave it as is and it's just a pass through because we won't have any expenses, or whether we want to, make $5 or $10 on each application to cover anything else we haven't thought of. But right now we don't.
Any comments? I think, I mean, one of the initial things was that we don't necessarily want to be making money off of people, but we will have some unique costs associated with safeguarding our information for our branch clients or for our branch members. So, I mean, it's whatever, I guess everybody's input is valued in the sense of, what do you think? Because we don't keep a dime right now of any of the expenses we incur with processing these certificates. Should we have a $5 processing fee, which is actually less than a lot of branches, but I don't know.
I don't have a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
I think just alone, Jennifer, it's Jim.
Yeah.
I know that there were 28 pages that you had to print from my application, and I believe 18 or 20 pages with my wife Sherry's application. So that costs more than the $5 would be, plus you have to ship it.
Yeah.
Right.
If we can do it online, it's better.
Right. All those costs are going away. So, but I think we also, like as Jennifer mentioned, we also have to consider that because we're doing our applications online, we have a unique startup of making sure we have secure iCloud or some kind of secure way of transporting those information. So I think we do have some expenses, nothing like printing, which is just ridiculous, and shipping. But I think $5 to $10 extra an application is not too much. I think that should be fine.
Well, I think we should consider time too, right?
Yeah, I think, you're right, because it is all volunteer based. So people are taking a lot of time out of their day. But in addition to that, I think as a branch, it would be tough at the rate already that applications are coming in. Even if we go full digital, don't forget that we still get these certificates sent directly to us in a lot of cases, and then we send them out. So we would incur the cost of mailing at the very least, which would be probably, close to $5, even that.
Right, because of the size of envelope, and you've got to put it in a secure envelope so that it doesn't get bent or crushed or whatever.
So
this is Susan. I think we should definitely look at adding on 10.
Yeah, I think 10 is great.
It's not like it's going to make someone change their mind about submitting it. They've done all the work already. So whether it's, $40 or $50, it's not like they're going to change their mind. And we don't want to be in a position where, we're cutting it close all the time. So.
Okay. So what we could do is the executive could figure out what that number is. And I assume, would we have to have our membership vote on that?
No, you can do it based on the board of directors. However, you know, we can make a motion today, and it's the general membership who are in attendance. We could make a motion to make it $10, or if you want to wait, we can make sure that $10 is going to be significant enough to, you know, mail that certificate to California. So we could wait and do it as a board of directors.
I think it'll be yeah. I think it'll suffice in the sense that most certificates top end of the mailing ratio. So, you know, some we might make a little, some we might lose a little, but I think it'll even out to our benefit. Andy, you're in California. Andy's still with us? Is that right? Is he? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we have Andy. You just submitted an application. Am I right? Yeah. Okay. So they'd be grandfathered. We could grandfather any that are currently submitted.
Yes, of course.
At the fee that we're. Oh.
Yep.
Andy, you're muted. We can't hear you.
We can't actually. Oh. No, I can't hear you. It says mute on. Wait, let's see. Oh, I think I can hear you a bit.
Now?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, now I'm getting used to this new.
Barely.
Is that better?
Barely.
Better?
A little better.
A little better, yep.
Nothing. No, I'm not hearing it at all. It's cutting, I think it's cutting in and out. Let's see. Sorry, Andrew. We're not hearing you at all. I think he's typing, so that would be, yeah, and don't forget, we also have, I don't know how to do this. Yeah, I can see you there. So Andy's gonna type it out as his mic goes in and out.
That works.
Yep. And it should pop up on your screen for those of you.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, I read it. Yep.
All right. Now, how do I go back? Ooh, do I do this? Oh, yeah. Okay. Is there a message there? Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. So your internet's good times. So did you have a comment about the fee, Andy? Yeah, oh, okay, that's fine. So the $10 fee sounds like it's fine with everybody, and everybody here on video also sounds good?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know, one thing that we do try to do, although Jim, you got the advantage of Amanda and I popping to Kingston to give you the certificate. I would like to explore some little thing that we can give, whether it be, yeah, probably a certificate from our branch as a thank you, like we did. Yours obviously said uniquely that you were the first members to get the certificate processed by our branch, but yeah, so so just, you know, we could add a little something then when we mail it out, and that's not.
You want to see it?
Yeah, please.
Can you
There
see
you
it?
go.
Mm-hmm.
Can we see that?
Yep. Nice.
Looks good.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other ones are
And
on
I've-
the wall, so I can't show you those.
Yeah.
And
So,
we,
so, you know,
there was a Jennifer, there was a little note from Andy that popped up on the bottom there for about a minute ago.
Yep.
So,
Yep. So Andy says he's fine with the fee, and it says, for me, it's an honor. And again, I think, Susan, you brought this up, that I don't think people will bulk at $5 or $10 addition. So is that from you? Do we need a motion for the $10 fee? And can we pass that motion with as few people as we have from our membership?
yes, because it's whoever's in attendance.
Okay, yeah, fine, great. Okay.
Okay. So
Okay, thanks, Susan. All right, so What do I do? Just ask for a motion to accept the $10
Sure. Can
increase?
somebody make a motion?
Okay, I'll motion it. It's Dawn.
Okay,
I'll second it. Jim?
Jim, second. Okay, thank you. So it'll say that the motion is to increase our ULAC certificate of descent processing fee by $10. Okay. Just grabbing notes. Bringing it to $50 per certificate application. Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Anybody? No? Nay? Okay, carried. Thank you. Okay, so we'll put that forward. Okay, so anything else on the budget? That was a little bit of a budget discussion that came up. I'll address, I don't know if anybody's just taken note of the insurance, and we'll address that in my president's report. So unless there's any other questions?
I have none.
No? Okay. When I updated the budget to fix up the error of having taken out the 500 for processing of Dominion certificates, I sort of added a little addendum or extra explanation under the website costs, and I have website and tech. I didn't touch the number, but it's just to indicate that we have specialized security protocols that we have included on our website. And then that's also going to include any sort of fees that we need for proper storage. And this is an item that came up for discussion at our executive meeting of a couple of weeks ago, in which we really feel it's important to follow all Canadian government standards to securing people's private information because of even the nature of technology sending emails with private information. We want to make sure that we secure it much better than typically you would. So anything that you would send to a lawyer or an accountant in which it's encrypted and things like that, that's going to include any fees associated with that, so that everybody does feel comfortable sending us their online application. So that's just a little explanation of why I changed the name. Okay, so I think it looks like we're going to run a deficit of $70, but the only other thing on the budget is the ULAC 2021 conference. You'll see that there's an expense of $500. We fully expect that if we expense that $500, that we will be able to make up that expense in fundraising. So I would not expect there to be a deficit in this coming year. I would expect that we would have some surplus. So that will be, so was the goal. Okay, good. Thank you, Tricia, for that. Okay, so President's report. I know that some of you, most of you, were at the first quarterly meeting at the end of March, so thank you again. We will approve all the reports. The boss is beside me here, sending me notes. So this is going to be a little bit of a refresher for those of you that were there, but not too much in depth. So the President's report for the AGM, I've entitled just 2018 and the founding of UE Loyalist Bridge Annex. Some of the highlights from 2018 was, first of all, that we established that there was a need for a branch that could connect people in meaningful ways using technology, thus the term meaningful membership via a virtual branch. And so we had talked about this at the first quarterly meeting, in which we feel that a lot of the advantages that we are quick to respond to our members. They don't feel like they're just waving out the wind when they ask a question, that they can expect a quick response, and then the follow-up is equally quick, in addition to all of the amazing opportunities that we're trying to take advantage of as a branch. The next highlight is that we identified further that there was an opportunity to host the ULAC 2021 conference in Cornwall, Ontario, because we could leverage the interest that has been in that region. That's been a big, point of discussion for many of us over the years. Is we know that last time the area branch in near Cornwall hosted it, there was a lot of attendance. And we wanted to see that go back into such a central area to many of our Canadian Loyalist ancestors who thus fanned out across the country and sometimes back into the United States. So we identified that need for having it back in Cornwall. We knew that there was community interest in doing that. We did ask the local branch if they would like to participate, which they declined because they just didn't feel that that was an undertaking their branch could take in the near future. We did then send out letters to branches within the Central East region, which we fall under, and although we're a virtual branch, we are managed by the Central East region. And so we have since been able to get a letter of support from the Sir John Johnson branch and informal offers of volunteerism from many members of many other branches. So there's been keen interest to help us pull off ULAC 2021 in Cornwall. So we were very excited about that. Our next steps at that point is we looked for a facility. We worked with the City of Cornwall and we identified that the Now Center along the St. Lawrence River to the east of the city would be a perfect facility for an all-in-one conference. They had recently updated all of their accommodations for guests. In addition to that, they have 3 restaurants on site. They have an old stone home at the front of the facility, which actually was a Loyalist descendant built house. And we have asked special permission to hold an encampment over the weekend on the front lawn. And so they are actually in the midst of trying to get permissions to fire, not live ammunition, but fire cannons and have a reenactment happen. In addition to having the old house as the welcome center for all of our guests over the weekend. We saw this as more of an opportunity, not just for ULAC members, but to engage the City of Cornwall and their citizens, but also we have a lot of collaborators in the US who are interested in helping us have sort of a cross-border opportunity for a couple of conferences back and forth, which I think really strengthens our understanding of our Loyalist history. So as Trish said, the deposit has been put down. Again, we thank NAV Canada for accepting our $3,000 deposit as opposed to the usual 15%. The rates for the hotels are actually, I think, a little bit less than this year's rates for the ULAC 2019 conference for rooms. In addition to that, they've given us some extra facilities and some extra assistance. So they've already reached out to us a couple of times to offer assistance in our early planning stages. So we're really excited to be working with them. We approached ULAC, of course, after we made all these determinations to see if they would give a virtual branch a charter. And that charter was provided. It was approved. We did have to get, I believe, how many signatures, Trish? 12 or 14?
I can't remember.
Yeah, we had to get a certain number of signatures.
It was significant. It was significant.
Yeah, so we got enough supporters on this list to be able to attain our charter. My understanding is that we will be issued a beautiful charter that has been calligraphied once they find somebody to calligraphy that for us. And so we'll come up with a safe place for that. We, of course, had a founding board, and that included myself and Patricia Groom, David Hill Morrison, Amanda Faskin, and Charlene Widrick. And although David Hill Morrison and Charlene Widrick have had to remove themselves from the board positions at this point, we are thankful that they are still involved in different ways. And so I'll bring those to our attention a little bit. We registered then as a not-for-profit with the Ontario Historical Society, and by meeting all of their guidelines, we attained our designation in the spring of 2018, and I believe we're renewing very soon under the OHS. Further, we identified technology needs and recruited tech expert Jonathan De Bruin, who really, we have to say, has been a lifeline because he's had to overwrite some of the basic protocols for some of the technologies that we've purchased. So while we might have purchased at a certain rate, he's turned it into the super package. So we're thankful for that. And of course, he provides us with all of our tech support through these meetings. We began recruiting members and created a number of membership types. So of course, we have the primary and secondary membership, as most branches do, but we also have family membership, of which Jim and his wife Sherry were the first official family membership. Jonathan and I are a family membership. Trish, you're gonna wrangle Wayne into a family membership, I assume. And I
can't believe I forgot.
And I believe I did see on our most recent membership list that we do have another family membership that just came in. So that's exciting. In addition to that, we've decided to offer a student membership. Now, students get a reduced rate, but they would not get the Loyalist Gazette. So that's sort of the difference. Of course, they can subscribe to that as they wish. I will say that at this point, although it didn't happen in 2019, it's just happened in this past week, we had organizations in the United States reach out to us to see if they could become members of Bridge Annex. It sort of spurred us to create a supporting organization membership. And we have two tiers, a $30 tier in which the supporting members, of course, they would not have a vote, but they would have access to member content on our website, including the monthly newsletter, which will be coming out. If they want to be the Member Plus, then they would get the Loyalist Gazette twice a year. So that's at a $50 rate. And so we expect 2 organizations to come on board in the next week or 2. So that's very exciting. At the end of 2018, we had approximately 30 members of varying membership types. Nearly half of those were in the US. We can now report that we have over 38 members, because family memberships can be a variety, but over 38 members, of which we have 2 international members, and our membership breakdown is about half US, half Canadian. So certainly the most recent memberships.
We have in Ireland too, don't we?
And in Australia, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And believe it or not, the Australian member is a cousin to many of us. So I do encourage all of you to continue your recruiting efforts. It's really taking, and we're excited to be able to help foster those relationships, not just friendship, but of sharing information, how to do further research to, of course, keep the legacy of the United Empire Loyalists alive. We created a comprehensive volunteer roles and responsibilities and code of conduct package. This was partially developed because we wanted to mitigate any future issues in which other groups are reporting that individuals would join groups just to cause trouble. And I know it's awful to say, but we wanted to make sure that we didn't have that happen. And so individuals have to apply to be volunteers with us and then have to sign the code of conduct so that they have a certain level of expectations of how we'll help them get what they're looking for experience-wise with Bridge Annex, but also we have some fail-safes if we run into difficult issues. We don't expect anything drastic, but at least we know everybody has each other's back based on this package. And that is all, again, online. You can apply online for that. We created social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And then the closed Facebook group was opened in early 2019. And this was done after much consideration. As Amanda mentioned at our first quarterly meeting, Amanda, mostly Amanda, and I look after the ULAC Facebook page. And we had quite a few issues that we had to deal with there. So it gave us lots of insight on how we wanted to create a safe space for sharing and connecting for Bridge Annex members. And so that's why that took a little longer to come on board. So it is closely monitored, and please feel free to know that it is only members on that closed Facebook group. So please continue to participate there. ULAC Certificate of Descent applications, as we said, will be done online. Bridge Annex created the opportunity for our members to download the application form. This is unique to branches. Most branches require the individual to email to get the application form. We worked with the Dominion genealogists, Peter and Angela Johnson, to come up with a scenario in which you fill out a small form with your name, I think it's your name and contact information, and then it automatically downloads. It says you can expect an email from us. So they just want us to make sure that we're tracking who's downloading that and reminding people not to share the application, because we do want to make sure that we are tracking the number of applicants or interested applicants for ULAC certificates. A reminder that certificates of descent are based on lineage. It is not a bloodline issue. This is a lineage issue, so you simply need to provide proof of parentage all the way back to your Loyalist ancestor. We've recently provided a terribly videotaped research segment that is posted on our website so that you can learn how to look for some of the early documents on Library and Archives Canada. Now, Trish, you'll have to speak to the insurance, but essentially, Bridge Annex has purchased liability insurance, which covers all of our members. And despite the fact that we are a virtual branch, we will be attending and hosting in-person events. And this liability insurance will protect all of our members. Part of the reason why this came up was essentially as a charter branch of ULAC, if something happens at any branch in ULAC, all members could essentially be named in a lawsuit. This protects us from that, and it protects our board members from any issues. Is there anything else I should mention there, Trish?
Just that Dominion has offered last year and this year, so we have applied for and have been granted the insurance grant, which is 85% of our costs. We haven't got the actual funds yet back, but we have paid for our insurance. It was sometime in January 2019, I don't know the exact date. And we also purchased board of directors insurance, of which we don't get any of that money back, but that was $150. So we get 85% of the $600 back. So that has been signed off by Sue Hines, the president. Normally that would be done by me as chair of the grants committee. But of course, because it was my branch, I passed that off to others to sign off on. So that is now with the Dominion office to reimburse us.
Okay. All right, almost done with the president's report. It's a long one. Just briefly, I would like to thank David Hill Morrison, who donated this Loyalist flag to our branch and this Haudenosaunee flag to our branch. I'll show you this. In August, this past year, when we attended an event in Cornwall, where we made the official announcement that we would be hosting ULAC 2021 there. And so that was very nice of him to be able to provide us with those so that when we go out to physical events, we have a good representation and a good visual draw for people. I'll give you a few highlights on recent and upcoming events. We have established several committees based on the conversation that we had from our first quarterly meeting. Those will be posted for members by the end of today. We have created a basic skeletal structure for some key committees, and then you can help to develop that once you're on the committee. So again, we do ask individuals to read those over and then make their application. I'll make sure to give you a link on how to do that. We have asked David Hill Morrison, who has will not be on the board for this coming year, has agreed to head up a Native initiative which is currently under development and will be aimed at including more Haudenosaunee Loyalists. So we are reaching out across the cultures which have traditionally stood by the side of the monarch and Loyalists. And so David will be working to develop that position and working to reach out and build some bridges with our Haudenosaunee friends. We've purchased, again, we'll purchase the video equipment for future Bridge Annex educational tools. We thought we'd do maybe something like an armchair travel series. We had talked about how Amanda is a reenactor, and so I'm often having a video camera in hand so I can take videos of those so our members can actually follow along with some of those. We'll be doing some vlogs, and certainly we're open to suggestions. We continue to process ULAC applications, as I now have Andy's, who Charlene has passed off. So we do thank Charlene for continuing, Charlene Woodrick, one of the founding members, for continuing to help members with their application process. We are going to be looking at doing those increased security features for sending off the information to the Dominion genealogists going forward. And I think just the last two reminders, one of our newest members, Taylor Stormer, is the producer of an upcoming feature, The Good Americans, and it's about American loyalists. We'll put up a highlight of that with the, what's that movie, DBMI page, I believe that's what it's called, a little bit about that. He has asked us to send an email out to our American members because they're looking to see what the American perspective is. And so apparently some of our members who we passed along this to have already contacted him. This is an exciting project for ULAC. Taylor is also, I believe, on the ULAC Scholarship Committee. And one of the co-producers of this production is Bonnie Shephers, who was at one time the president of ULAC and is chair of the scholarship committee for ULAC. So we're pretty excited to be supporting something that will bring more attention to the history of the Loyalists, but also support the ULAC scholarship opportunities. And that's something that Bridge Annex is really focused on. Finally, ULAC 2019, if you haven't already registered for the conference, which is taking place in Ottawa-Gatineau, May 30th to June 2nd, please do so. I'm excited to be giving a presentation on the first about Loyalist spies. We do expect, I believe, a couple of hundred individuals at least to attend this conference, and there is parking on site, so certainly get onto the Sir Guy Carleton branch website. We'll again post the link on the Bridge Annex social media pages so that you can register for those. And in addition, it will be on our calendar of events, which is on our website. So thank you all for being part of Bridge Annex. And that is my long-winded President's report.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, nominated committee report. Jennifer DeBruin is tired of hearing her own name. All right. Nominations committee. We put out a call for nominations. We let the nominations call go a little bit longer. We wanted to assess who would be interested in holding several of the positions that were available. We had 5 positions. And then we've happily been able to acclaim the board for the coming year because we had as many nominations as we had positions. So I'd like to welcome new to our Bridge Annex board, James Beattie.
Thank you.
So welcome, James. And Susan Ellsworth. Welcome,
Thank
Susan. Susan is part of Toronto branch. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, great, very good, thank you. We're welcoming back Amanda Faskin and Patricia Groom. So thank you, Patricia, and then myself again. So you're gonna hear lots from me again this year. I will be sending out the package, which brings us to the installation of the 2019-2020 Board of Directors. And so I'll be sending out some, the code of conduct. Some of you may have already signed one with your branch, if you haven't already. I don't know, Trish, does that translate or do we have to do one specific to our branch, I suppose?
It's specific. It would be specific to Bridge Annex.
Okay. So
and then not all branches are doing it either. So it's up to the branches individually. So
we've decided yes.
Yeah.
So I'll be sending out all of our code of conduct. In addition to that, I'll send out the full, is it the bylaws and all of that, so you can take a look at it.
yeah,
Because we do, yeah, we do appreciate, you know, if you take a peek through it, if we should be doing something better. So Amanda, was that your phone?
Yeah, sorry.
I can tell.
I love her ring.
So we don't have a formal installation only because we are virtual, but I do want to thank everybody for being part of the board and to all of our members being here. All right, so we're at an open discussion portion in which we can make any sort of announcements or ask questions. Are there any questions or announcements from Those gathered? Silence. I assume no then. Anybody have any questions? No?
No, I have a comment, Jennifer. It's Jim.
Sure. Yeah.
I would be very interested in helping whoever's doing the applications with doing some research. I've been doing it for 40 some years, so.
That's actually potentially me, Jim, and I
Okay.
would love to have you help me with that. So
Excellent.
you and I will be working closely this year together.
I have most of the information for Fredericksburg, Adolphustown, this whole area that I'm in, Lennox, Addington,
Excellent.
Frontenac, and Hastings. So
Very nice. Yeah, we'll be working together.
excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is a big undertaking. Although our members are great to get the majority of the information and proofs that they need, sometimes there's records that they need to access that I'm not necessarily familiar with. So it's nice to now have a more formalized genealogy group amongst our board members, and I'm sure that there's lots of members that would be happy to help be able to facilitate moving those along as quickly as possible, because I know, from experience that, oh, excellent. So Andy says that Pat at OGS helped him with some of his research, and certainly we have members of our group, and probably some of you are members of other historical groups. We are looking at, sharing what we know and linking with other groups to help facilitate be able to get those ULAC certificates. Although it's not our primary purpose, we know having them on our own walls. Oh, Andy's ancestor's name was English. And that's us, yeah. See, I don't have any of those good ones. But certainly it can be a big undertaking, and it is exciting to get the certificates on the wall. Or at least make the proof. Now, we have some American members I know that don't necessarily have Loyalist ancestors, and I think that's even, as awesome, because this is really about keeping the history alive, but even learning more all the time. So the more we can learn, the better. We did have a suggestion this week. Who was it from? Sandy no, it wasn't. I thought the last name was McNamara. Who was it? One of our members this week asked if we were going to have profiles on our website for their ancestors. So genealogy people, that is something that we had talked about, I think at the very early stages of the Bridge Annex, was having a portal where people could put up information about their Loyalist ancestors that others could read. I know that ULAC's trying to move, Lynn McAllister, that's who it was, one of our members, where you could kind of look at other profiles, share information about common ancestors. So that might be something that genealogy wants to look at. May help facilitate more people being able to access that. ULAC, I think, was looking at it at one time and may still be, but we tend to be a little bit further advanced with our technology use. So sometimes it's easier to build from square one than it is to try to take an older system with lots of information and turn it into a tech-friendly one. So that's perfect. Okay. Any other questions? This material. Oh, excellent. So if anybody has Anguish or Buck, you might want to.
Nope.
No, those are good names though. Amanda, Trish, and I have many common ancestors. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. I know a lot of people have both Patriot ancestors and Loyalist ancestors. Those are great stories to be had. So certainly keep that up. All right. Any other questions, comments? Yeah, we'll have a motion to approve all of the. Yeah, we've heard that from a few people, Andy. All right, let's have a motion to accept the reports from today. Does anybody want to move that?
I will. It's Dawn.
Okay, thank you, Dawn. And can I have a seconder?
Amanda.
Tricia or Amanda?
Okay, thank you. All right. All right, if there's no more formal discussion for the AGM.
You need to pass the motion.
Oh, I have to pass a motion for what now? Oh, let me see.
We need to have a vote.
You need to vote on the.
Oh, yes, sorry, I'm sorry. Any discussion based on the approving of the reports from the AGM? No? Okay. Everybody in favor of accepting the reports from the AGM, say aye.
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 Any noes? Nay? No? Okay, we got a text yes, so that's good. All right, thank you, that's passed. Okay, so I am going to adjourn our very first annual general meeting on April 7th, 2019. Thank you everybody for participating. We will stay online if you want to have informal discussion. Just a quick note that the Zoom app that we've been using for this virtual conversation has actually allowed us to record all of the detail. Once now it is adjourned, all of the recording stops. So this is just a free-flowing opportunity to share information, ideas. If you have any interest again on joining any committees, I will be posting the information for that, and you can put your name forward for it. And we will facilitate you being able to use the Zoom application for committee meetings. So you won't have to worry about downloading something yourself. You'll just be given a link for a planned meeting. You'll also be getting committee pages in which you can share information and a calendar for the executive of Bridge Annex, in which we can see all of the meetings that will be taking place for executive work. So hope to facilitate an easy volunteer experience, but be able to achieve much.
So Jennifer, question.
Yes.
The Zoom, one of the organizations that I'm with, I think I've been on 6 this week so far. We post everything that's recorded. Will we be doing that as well with Bridge Annex?
I'm not opposed to it. Do they still produce minutes and then also post it?
They do, but then they post the meeting so that, you know, if someone's not able to attend,
yes,
then they can bring it back up later at their leisure and watch it. Maybe get a little more insight into it. Minutes don't always cover everything.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Okay, we can talk about that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, we have to formally produce the minutes based on the fact that we are incorporated.
Yes.
But we certainly can also, you know, post a video, but we actually have to, by law, produce the paper.
Yes. I just know that too, when you post on your website or whatever, people who watch it, if there are parts that we're looking for people to help with us, they see it and then they'll chime in and go, you know what, that's what I've been looking to do.
Right.
Yeah, so it does work.
That's an excellent point. I think we can do that. Yes. Okay. I'm just looking to the tech guy beside me, telling him yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you, Jim. That's awesome.
No problem.
I only used Zoom a couple of times before, so I'm not totally familiar with what all the
really taking off. Yeah, NASDAQ has just gone to it.
Well, it's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and it's a stable platform, and because we've purchased the package, we don't have a limit to how long our meetings have to be. So if you, for example, had a committee discussion and it just went on, because you were having a great brainstorming, it's not, you know, cut off at 40 minutes. And you can also record those, like you said, and maybe share them with the committee member who hasn't been able to attend.
Exactly.
That, which is excellent. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. Does anybody have an issue with that if it's the video's posted?
No.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, we can do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop recording.
Yeah, okay. Any other questions or comments at this point? No?